Okay, here we are live every Wednesday, every week. Live at 5 p.m. Nairobi time, 10 a.m. New York time. This is Queen Mother Speaks. Welcome to our wonderful Wednesday and Queen Mother Speaks, where we're celebrating our second anniversary. Can you believe it? We've been doing it for 2 years. Oh my God, oh my God. This is actually the beginning of year three. Queen Mother is very happy. Queen Mother is very happy. I am your host, Ella Dashanaba King, also known as Queen Mother de Nuno the First of Ghana, and our co-host, Nana Afua Adezawa, will not be in the house today, but she will be live in the chat room. So please make sure that you reach out and say hello to her, to us, and let us receive your questions. We will be here ready, willing to receive all of your questions today during the Queen Mother Speaks show. All right, we're in a new season. The new season is called Season 8. And in Season 8, our theme is if not you, who? If not now, when? The time is now. And the whole setup for the theme, ladies and gentlemen, is to say to you that this is a famous quote. And this quote is a quote designed for you to take action. For you to take action. Stop waiting. Who the hell are you waiting for? It's up to you. The time is now. So take stock of the things that you're waiting for. What steps can you take to make it happen? What is it? It is the things that you want to do in your life. Okay? That's what the message is all about. So do something about it. Rise up, ye mighty nation of men and women. All right. All right. I want to give you a chance to hit that like button, the share button, and the comment button. Let us know that you're out there. You know, I run into people all the time and they tell me, I watch your show, but they never take the time to send us a shout out or to send us a like or share or comment. So today, as part of our anniversary treat, Queen Mother is asking you to please give us a comment today because we are looking to hear from you. I'd like to give a shout out to our viewing audience today. We have Ambimbola, Lady Mo, Ursula is tuning in, Michelle Ernestine, High Priestess Say Shot. We have Carmen and Tina from Hotlanta, So in studio today, I'd like for you to see who we have in our studio today. Here they are. Here's our studio guest today. We have designer Premilla Andabwa. We have Daniel
Hello.
Mbidi, and we have Georgia Simba. And we have a very special anniversary tribute and a segment on the Tilila Report. Plus, we're going to invite you to support our fundraiser for the Ahadi reusable pads. Please, ladies and gentlemen in the studio, please greet our studio audience. Each of you can just say hello.
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 Okay, well, we'll be hearing more from them just a little while later. But I invite you to just go ahead now and get relaxed. Okay, just go ahead and get relaxed and ready for this awesome show that we have set up for you today. Okay, if this is your first time tuning into Queen Mother Speaks, I want to say to you, thank you. Thank you so much. And give us a comment. Tell us who you are and where you're tuning in from. You know, we have guests from all over the world, and we like to know who you are so we can give you a shout out as well. We want you to know that we have men and women coming on the show every week with very unique, innovative projects and transformative works. Plus, we do special shows like we're doing today for the Queen Mother Speaks anniversary. You can go to our page, tell us who you are, where you are, and who you would like to see on the Queen Mother Speaks show. Just go to facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks. Facebook.com/Queen Mother Speaks. We're pleased for all of the guests in the house today. Thank you, thank you, thank you every week. Happy birthday to all of our July born people. There's baby Z, who was 1 year old in this month of July. I remember last year, July, when he was coming into the world, happy birthday. And that is also Nana's grandson. I also like to give a birthday shout out to a brand new baby, baby Logan, who's only been in the world for 2 weeks. Can you imagine? 2 weeks. Happy birthday, baby Logan, and many, many more to come. From the west coast of USA, we like to give a thank you for those who rise early to watch the show. You know, it's 7 a.m. in California time. And those tuning in would be Red. Thank you, Red, Adisa, and Kwashi, Mr. Ekpe from Los Angeles. We have Tashmia, Nyla, Hakika, Samantha, and who else? From San Francisco, California. I'd like to give a happy Earth Day shout out to my own dear sister, Anita Laverne King. She has passed away. She is the late Anita Laverne King, but we always remember her. Her birthday is on July 17th. Queen Mother Speaks want to invite each of you to stay safe, continue to wash your hands, okay, be alert. We thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speaks show because it's a safe space for inspiration and expression. There's a new platform out. It's called Bonga Dada Bonga. Bonga Dada Bonga. Bonga Dada Bonga. Tune in. It is a new platform for women's voices, and you can catch them live every Thursday at 7 p.m. just by going to facebook.com/Bonga Dada Bonga. Bonga Dada Bonga. All right, now, what is this thing called Queen Mother Speaks? It is a community platform for wealthy conversations, okay, and issues and conversations that matter. We give commentary and insights to raise your awareness, to inspire you, to inform you, to ignite you, to educate you. We want you to laugh. We give updates on expatriating to Africa. A lot of our guests want to know about that. We give words on newsworthy events, wisdom from the elders, and warm, witty dialogue with our guest, like we're going to do today. And we have a boutique of quotes and inspirational verse. All right, that's what Queen Mother Speak is. Now, today, as usual, as you know, sometime in year one, from the Art of Living Institute, we had an online breathing session for about 20 minutes. And ever since then, Queen Mother Speaks like to include breathing into our show because during the pandemic, a lot of us couldn't get out for one reason or the other. So you had to learn how to deal with yourself. And one of the things we learned to do was how to breathe. So we're right now going to go into our breathing exercise, how it works. We breathe in slowly through your nose to the count of 8. You hold it for the count of 8, and then you release it very slowly, once again through your nose to the count of 12. So breathe in 8, hold 8, and exhale. Breathe out very slowly to the count of 12. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, we're going to get ready to do our breathing exercises, and that includes each of you in the studio today. We're just going to do 3 breaths, 3 of these breaths. So you just follow my hand. You see it here, just follow my hand. Here we go. Breathe in to the count of 8. Hold. Okay, we're going to do it again. We have 2 more to go. So breathe in to the count of 8. All right, we're going to try one more. Breathe in. Okay. It may be a little rough starting in the beginning, but practice breathing. Practice breathing and control your own stress because surely when you learn how to breathe, you can control the stress in your body. And sometimes when you're alone, you know, you need to still know how to be able to take care of yourself. So I want to thank you for sharing the breath of life with me. So in this moment, we now go to our reflective reading. So I'm going to repeat the topic 3 times, and I want you to listen with your heart. Okay? Only I can give myself another chance. Only I can give myself another chance. Only I can give myself another chance. For every action, there is a consequence. Consequences are opportunities to learn. The lesson boosts self confidence. The action may have even caused harm to someone. The admission and earnest action to apologize is an opportunity for redemption. No one goes without error or mistakes. The love of your Creator is unconditional and ever present. Your self love reports and supports redemption. One mistake does not cancel opportunities to live, does it? It is a lesson to support a behavior change. It's an opportunity to live again from a different perspective. I learn from my mistakes. I make the necessary corrections in my attitude. I adjust my attitude. I release shame. I release fear. And I know I can do life again. I go to my God. My confidence is always boosted when I go to my God. My decision making is for my highest good and the good of others. I forgive myself. I give myself another chance. Thank you, understanding in me, as me, through me, around me, through the Christ within. And so it is. Our scripture for today is, and forgive us our offenses as we have forgiven our offenders. That's St. Matthew 6 and 12. Our scriptural reading for today is from Daily Thoughts from the Hill, Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. So now, thank you again for being with me for that moment. We always do our devotional. Well, sometimes we skip it if you got a huge program, but today I think we had time to put it in. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, you asked for it, you got it. Everyone has been sending me messages about what's going on with the insurrection hearings. What's going on with the insurrection hearings? Well, I want you to know that our roving reporter, Miss Elizabeth Myers, has been in the States. She's from Morocco, but she's been in the States and she's been sitting in on those hearings. So today, she's going to give us an in depth report on the Independence Day election, everything you need to know about the January 6th hearings. Now, this particular tape is going to be a little longer than usual, but you asked for it, you got it. Here we go.
I'm Elizabeth Myers, aka Tilila, with another Tilila Report live from America. Tilila means freedom, and that's what impacts democracy and the rule of law and your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today's issues impact freedom in some very fundamental ways that we as Americans have taken for granted for 200 years. Principally, that the loser of an election concedes, followed by a peaceful transition of power. Well, the January 6th committee that's been investigating the January 6th Capitol attack has been investigating the scheme to overthrow the 2020 presidential election by preventing Congress from counting the electoral votes. The committee opened up its public hearings on June the 9th. I happened to be in the US in June, and I was able to watch the first few hearings live. I learned, however, that many Americans are not watching them. So for today's Tilila Report, I thought I'd give a summary of what we've seen so far. But I urge you to watch them for yourselves. Judge the facts that the committee is bringing to the American people. Even prominent Republican supporters of Donald Trump have had their minds changed by the depth of the efforts to keep Donald Trump in power against the will of the American people. Our country has never before seen anything like this. So each of the now 7 hearings has presented evidence methodically and thoroughly demonstrating that the person responsible for an attempted coup on our democratically elected government was Donald Trump. By subpoena or voluntarily, most of the witnesses who have testified before the committee, either in pre-recorded testimony or live testimony, have been Republicans who have supported Donald Trump, and in some cases have said they will continue to support Trump if he should become the Republican nominee for president in 2024. So let's talk about the first hearing. The committee presented a behind the scenes and up close video of what happened on January the 6th. It showed footage from police body cameras, the Capitol hallways, and office footage, as well as police radio communications. It showed on-camera testimony from many of the people closest to Trump, including his daughter Ivanka, who broke with him over his lies that the election was stolen. She testified that she accepted what Bill Barr said at the time, that there was no election fraud sufficient to overcome the election. Barr's sworn testimony was that Barr had told Trump this on numerous occasions. The first hearing showed that the people closest to Trump knew that the election wasn't stolen. It also showed far-right extremist groups, the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, on camera saying that they went to the Capitol that day because they believed that that's what Trump wanted them to do. It showed that after Trump's stand back and stand by remark in a debate, membership in the Proud Boys tripled. The committee showed through texts and other communications that pretty much everyone around Donald Trump knew the truth, not only his attorney general and his daughter, but also Fox's Sean Hannity and Trump's former press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. But no one could rein Trump in and dissuade him from continuing to push that lie. The hearings, the first hearing linked the timing of Trump's tweets with video of militant members in the crowd literally reading from Trump's tweets through a bullhorn, like marching orders firing up the mob. It juxtaposed video of horrific violence from the mob of Trump supporters, striking officers with hockey sticks in one scene, with video of Trump 5 days later saying that these were, quote, peaceful people. In sum, that first hearing made a strong opening case that former President Donald Trump was a central character responsible for what happened. The second hearing went on to show what was happening with the Trump campaign and in the White House in the days following election night 2020. Taped testimony from Trump's campaign advisors and lawyers showed a picture of a president who refused to listen to the truth, who insulated himself in a bubble of election-like conspiracies, who fleeced his own supporters out of money based on the lie, and wielded the power to incite violence. Taped video testimony of Trump's campaign manager, Bill Stepien, as well as senior advisor Jason Miller and multiple lawyers, contrasted what they called Team Normal with another team led by Rudy Giuliani. Team Normal professionals, campaign professionals, told Trump the same message, that the outlook was bleak, he should not declare victory on election night, he was going to lose, and that his election fraud claims were, as former attorney Bill Barr called them, quote, bogus and silly, or idiotic, or stupid, complete nonsense, crazy stuff. Barr testified that he told Trump all the election fraud claims were, quote, bullshit, and doing a great, great disservice to the country. Trump broke with Team Normal that was trying to get him reelected, and instead went with Rudy Giuliani, who Stepien and campaign advisor Jason Miller described as intoxicated on election night. He also went with lawyer Sidney Powell and former trade advisor Peter Navarro down a deep rabbit hole of false conspiracies, all of which were debunked repeatedly by lawyers and Justice Department officials. Barr, for example, described the fast and furious nature of those conspiracies as whack-a-mole. The lies were used to bolster Trump's finances. An investigator from the Trump committee said during the second hearing in a taped interview that $250 million was raised off the election lies from Trump supporters after election day, including $150 million in the first week. That was supposedly to fund the court cases that were being brought. But the investigator said most of the money, in fact, went to the group supporting Trump and not to fund the litigation. Congresswoman and committee member Zoe Lofgren said during that hearing, the big lie was also a big ripoff. Let's turn to the third hearing. The third hearing detailed intensive pressure campaign that Trump levied on former Vice President Mike Pence to do something that Pence knew he had no constitutional authority to do during the January 6th congressional proceeding to count the electoral votes. The 12th Amendment and the Electoral Count Act lay out a ceremonial role for the Vice President to preside in this process. It's not one that gives him power to essentially overturn the results of an election. But Trump used an all-out campaign, including lawyers' memos, treats during the attack on the Capitol, and intimidation to pressure Mike Pence to reject the electors' votes for president or throw them back to the states. Trump referred to Pence 11 times during his speech on the ellipse on the day of the insurrection. He tweeted multiple times in the days leading up to January 6th, targeting Pence. He also lied in a statement about Pence agreeing with him about the power the vice president had. And multiple witnesses, including Trump's daughter, Ivanka, testified to a, quote, heated phone call on January the 6th between Trump and Pence. Witnesses described Trump using the word, quote, wimp, and saying that Pence did not have the courage to overturn the election. What Trump did not bank on was that the vice president actually did have the courage to refuse to engage in a criminal conspiracy or act. The fourth hearing showed that Trump pressured state officials to help him overturn the 2020 presidential election. The panel during this hearing featured testimony from 3 Republican officials who were all on the receiving end of Trump's outreach after the election. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, his deputy Gabe Sterling, and Arizona House of Representatives Speaker Rusty Bowers. Like the previous hearings, these 3 officials testified about their unwillingness to participate in legally dubious schemes that would undermine the election, including efforts to subvert the Electoral College using fake pro-Trump electors. The fifth hearing. There, the committee detailed its findings of how former President Donald Trump pressured the Department of Justice to overturn the 2020 election results. 3 of Mr. Trump's top Justice Department officials, Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, Acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donahue, and Assistant Attorney General Stephen Engel, all Republicans, recounted how Trump wanted the department to undermine and overturn the election, and how, when that effort failed, Trump nearly installed a loyalist in the form of Jeffrey Clark, who would carry out those demands. Trump said in a meeting, quote, "Just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republicans." Clark went before the committee in a private sworn deposition back in February. He did not answer any of the committee's questions. Instead, he pleaded the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times. On June 23rd, after the hearings were underway and the testimony had come out, the FBI searched Clark's residence. The same day, the FBI also seized the cell phone of John Eastman, the lawyer who had pushed the false claims of mass voter fraud and who had written the memo with a supposed legal justification for designating alternative, read, fake electors to replace the real ones who voted for Biden. This came to light because of Eastman's court filing to get his phone back. The sixth hearing, the January 6th committee held a surprise sixth hearing based on some actually quite shocking new evidence. White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified that on January the 3rd, 3 days before the insurrection, she had spoken with the former White House counsel for the Trump administration, Pat Cipollone. Trump wanted to go to the Capitol after the rally on January the 6th. Several days earlier, however, Hutchinson testified that Cipollone had told her that they needed to make sure that Trump did not go to the Capitol after the rally. His words, according to her testimony, were, "This would be a legally terrible idea for us. We have serious legal concerns if we go to the Capitol that day." He told her, "We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen." So she testified that Cipollone had warned in the days leading up to the attack on the Capitol that if Trump went to the protest, it would look like we were obstructing justice. That's what she said. Quote, "It would look like we were inciting a riot or encouraging a riot." And those are the words of the former White House counsel, according to Hutchinson. Hutchinson also testified about Trump becoming irate when he didn't get his way, throwing food against a wall, and also lashing out physically against a Secret Service person driving his limo who refused to drive Trump to the Capitol. More importantly, however, she testified that on January the 6th, Trump was angry that the crowd appeared smaller than he wanted for his rally at the Ellipse. She said that Trump stated in a tent backstage that he wanted the magnetometers removed to let more people in. She said Trump was angry that we weren't letting people through the mags with weapons. Trump said words to the effect of, quote, "I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here. Let the people in. Take the effing mags away." That was Hutchinson's testimony. She testified also, confirming prior witness testimony, that several Republican officials, congressmen, and advisors sought pardons from the president, including the president's own lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. None of them received them. At the end of the sixth hearing, Congresswoman Liz Cheney previewed in her closing remarks that the committee has evidence of witness tampering by those in, quote, Trump world, as one of those messages showed, put it. And she promised more information in future hearings. Given Hutchinson's testimony, the day after she testified, the committee issued a subpoena to the former White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, who had sat with an informal interview with the committee on April 3rd, but according to a letter from the panel's chairman, he had declined to cooperate since then, citing executive privilege. However, on the seventh hearing that was just held last week, Pat Cipollone agreed to testify under oath as to all but direct conversations with the former president, for which he claimed privilege. In his pre-recorded testimony presented by the committee, like Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony, the parts of his pre-recorded testimony that were presented were a bombshell. Cipollone confirmed Hutchinson's testimony about an unhinged meeting that took place on December 18th, 4 days after the Electoral College confirmed Joe Biden as the next president. And that meeting took place in the Oval Office. It soon became an expletive-laced screaming match, according to Cipollone. He testified about his surprise that a group of people had made it through to the president's office to push conspiracy theories about the election and figure out ways to keep Trump in power. The group included people like Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, and he said that they showed a general disregard, quote, for the importance of actually backing up, say, facts. Then throughout the meeting, he said the outside group continued to accuse Trump's White House advisors of lacking the courage to continue contesting the election results. Other testimony during this hearing confirmed that the White House had been communicating with the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers since shortly after the election in November. An insider from the Oath Keepers and a rioter who pleaded guilty testified that Trump had called the people to Washington, and that's why they came. Jason Van Tatenhove, who was a former national spokesman for the Oath Keepers and a close aide to the group's founder, Stuart Rhodes, testified that the organization is a, quote, dangerous militia that attracted white nationalists and, as he put it, straight up racists. He said, in fact, it's a, quote, violent militia in large part fed by the ego and drive of Stuart Rhodes. And he said that the fact that Trump was either directly or indirectly messaging with the group before the insurrection kind of gave Rhodes the nod. You may recall that on December 19th, the day after the unhinged meeting, Trump tweeted, "Big protest in DC on January 6th. Be there, will be wild." Well, immediately after that, and right up until January 6th, right-wing media, especially Steve Bannon, ran with this over and over and over. The testimony at this seventh hearing showed that Trump was given multiple chances to dial down the rhetoric, but instead he kept others warned him against attacking Vice President Pence in his ellipse speech, yet Trump added language anyway, doing exactly that after calling Pence a, quote, wimp, according to witnesses. Other witnesses said they were concerned about his rhetoric and his tweets about the January 6th rally, but he kept making them. His advisors warned him against marching to the Capitol, but he kept pushing and told the crowd he was going with them. Once again, at the end of this hearing, Liz Cheney, Congresswoman Liz Cheney, warned against witness tampering. She stated point blank that after the panel's last hearing on June 28th, Trump himself had tried to call one of the committee's witnesses that we have not yet heard from. But instead of taking the call, that person called his or her lawyer, and the lawyer called the committee. She delivered yet another shot across the bow that the committee will take witness tampering seriously. So that is the play-by-play, the hearing by hearing. I know it's a lot to take in, and that's why I'm doing this summary. And here is a summary of what the facts so far presented in all the 7 hearings to date have shown. And there's one more hearing that we know of that's coming this week. 1, Trump knew that what he was saying about the election was a lie. He knew the fake electors scheme was illegal. He knew Pence didn't have the constitutional authority to choose the president. He knew the demonstrators he had called to Washington were armed, but he sent them anyway. He deliberately put a target on Vice President Pence's back. When numerous people begged him to stop the rioters, Trump did nothing. Beginning on the night of the election up through January 6th, Trump tried multiple plans and strategies to stay in power. And when one failed or got shot down by advisors or lawyers, he simply moved on to the next one. January 6th was just Trump's last-ditch attempt after all the other strategies had failed to stay in power. All of these facts elicited by the J6 committee show Trump's state of mind. I would venture to suggest Trump's criminal state of mind, which will provide ample evidence of the mens rea necessary for DOJ to prove not just one crime, but multiple crimes. So I want to say, as more evidence is collected and revealed to the American people, the circle is closing in on one person as the hub of the seditious conspiracy, and it seems only a matter of time before the DOJ will indict Donald Trump. Lawrence Tribe, who's one of the foremost American constitutional scholars who teaches at Howard University, has warned that not holding the principal instigator to account for attempting to obstruct the peaceful transfer of power paves the way for someone else, smarter and even more Machiavellian than Trump, to disobey the rule of law in the future, which is an untenable proposition in a democracy. And don't think that Trump is stopping now. He continues to install loyalists around the country who presumably next time will do his bidding. If you remember nothing about what I've just summarized in all these 7 hearings, there is testimony of one witness you should not forget. Retired Judge Michael Luttig, who advised Mike Pence on his vice presidential role on January the 6th, told the J6 panel and the public during the 3rd hearing that Trump, his allies, and his supporters, through their continued rhetoric, continue to represent, quote, a clear and present danger to watch, testify. Don't rely on your favorite media to summarize what's going on with those hearings. Judge for yourself the depth and danger of the democratic crisis we are in now. And remember, I've said a whole lot of times that there were a whole lot of lawyers involved in Trump's effort to overturn the election. So I suggest that you join me and the Democrats Abroad Africa Committee in August to learn more about an effort to hold all of the lawyers to account, all of the lawyers who were involved in the multiple frivolous lawsuits accountable for their seditious actions. So stay tuned for a virtual event with Michael Teeter, the founder and leader of the 65 Project, and hopefully the president of the National Bar Association will be joining us as well. Finally, folks, the facts that have come out during the J6 hearings so far show why it is even more urgent than ever for Americans to vote to preserve our democracy from the top of the ballot to the bottom. So let's mobilize, galvanize, and energize our strength together. Go to votefromabroad.org. Wherever you are, get active, join Democrats Abroad. We need you at the Democrats Abroad Africa Committee, so email me at Elizabeth_Myers@democratsabroad.org. Volunteer, appear, be there for American democracy, and let's let freedom ring. And that is the name of this report.
Wow, what a report. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elizabeth, for that great report that you've just given us. For those of you who are not aware of what's been going on in America, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for staying there and
Look
tuning
across
in.
the landscape.
Okay, I thank you for that very much. Oops. Ooh, let's see what we can do about that. Let me add Premilla back to the screen. I'm trying to see where that's coming from. I'm not
I
playing
don't know what.
another video. Let's see
Oh
if
my
I can.
gosh.
Okay, I'm canceling all of my videos on this end. Let's see if I can figure out where that's coming from. Let's go here and let's try to. Okay, I think I've ended it very well. Forgive me for that. I don't know about you, but I love watching Trevor. But right now, we got to go back to the Queen Mother Speak show because that's who we are and that's what time it is. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you once again, Elizabeth, for that. What can I say? What a report. What a report on what's going on in America with the former president and his shenanigans. We'll be tuning in for that more and more and more, even as we tune into things happening around the globe. But right now, we're going to go to our next guest in the house. His name is George. George pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice Systems and a minor in psychology from United States International University, Africa. That is a great place. We all met each other there. He furthered his studies at the University of Michigan under the Skill Set program, where he undertook two certification courses, one in sales and marketing, successful negotiations, and the other in essential strategies and skills. In January 2016, George was appointed head delegate for the African Model United Nations. Then he went to work for a company by the name of Stepwise. And while he was at Stepwise, he was a data entry clerk. There, he learned a lot through his skill sets, his programs. He was able to pursue his career development even more in sales and marketing as a business development representative. And occasionally, he did became a content creator, which is a very important new role, new jobs happening all over the world today. Prior to coming to Stepwise, he worked as a social impact content creator at Made in the Streets. That's the name of a company. In addition to that, he helped in facilitating a talented oriented counseling program through drama therapy. George had the privilege of working at a place called Nafisika. I hope I pronounced that right, George. Trust, where he ensured coaching of inmates with disabilities at committee maximum and minimum prisons to curb recidivism. Wow, wow. Then he became a freelance online content creator, and he's been researching various experiences. And all of these things together has just equipped him with a lot of skills. And he's done a lot of in-depth research. He's done copyright rules and regulations, audience growth. He's dealt with brand reach, search engine optimization. Holy, holy! Look at all the things that this great man has done. Well, George says when he's not busy with his work, he likes to write, he likes to do poetry, singing, and engaging in social impact projects. Wow. Well, now, George, I didn't know anything about your singing. Welcome to Queen Mother Speaks.
Thank
Welcome to
you.
Queen Mother Speaks. And George, you can sing a song for me today if you want to. Obviously, I can't hide my excitement. I can't hide my excitement, George. I'm so
Thank you.
happy to have you on the show. Welcome to Queen Mother Speaks. Tell us a little bit about your life before the university.
Wow. Thank you, Queen Mother. This is such a great honor to be part of this anniversary and celebrate with you, a phenomenal woman, someone I really admire and cherish to have met in my life. I think this is really a brilliant time to actually reminisce about our past and life, how we met, and also see how far we've gone through the words of encouragement and everything that you've given us,
Mhm.
including some of the guests in the studio today. My life before university was a uh, normal Kenyan boy life. High
Okay.
school, and then there was primary. I had the privilege of going to Jailan Special Secondary School, very special school and dear to me, and also went to Yala Township Primary School, and it's just a pretty normal life. However, slightly after stand class 8, that way back in 2008, I developed paralysis and lost strength in my lower limbs. And that was a beginning of an interesting journey because it was completely tragic yet an intriguing experience to discover a new life, a life that is full of challenges but also full of love, especially when you have people like Queen Mother around you. You realize that, wow, this is just anything that can happen to anyone. So I went to Jolan Special School. I would say that my life as a person with disability was quite a lonely life before I really discover who am I and discover the potential that lie really in my life and the great things that I could achieve. I think that discovery was one of the best things that ever happened. Uh, it is a unique thing and also sad because it came with rejection. It came with a lot of thoughts. Sometimes you
Mm,
say, why me? You see,
mhm,
those are some
mhm.
of the questions I used to ask myself back then. But it no longer happens because I was surrounded with power. I was surrounded with love. And a phenomenal woman like Maya Angelou once said that people can forget what you said, people can forget what you did, but they won't forget the feeling and how you treated them. And when I arrived back in USIU, I met this charming, beautiful lady, Dr. King. She was full of love. She was full of energy, and I saw. I didn't see a queen, but I saw a king. Let me just say that. I felt like this is totally different personality. She encouraged me to participate. She encouraged me to be myself. And I was highly motivated out of those words. I was able to be part of debating clubs, and she was my patron then, and win trophies out of my speaking ability. And I think that has been a great transformational journey. I would say that many people out there and many organizations out there claim that they're passionate about well-being of the people that are able differently like me. I would say it takes a heart of Dr. King and Queen Mother to really feel or
Oh,
understand what we really go through. And I believe that there has been a lot of great success through my personal life, the people I've encouraged, the people I have transformed. And I would say it's a ripple effect. It's something that you give, it's like a Midas touch. You touch
mhm,
my heart and it ripples to the rest of the people out there. And
mhm.
so I really don't know what to say about Queen Mother today. I really didn't feel like talking about myself on this show because you know what? We are coming up with something very great around that line, and you need to watch out for this show. But
Mm,
today, I really wanted to feel like just talking about a woman that transformed me differently in terms of inspiration, in terms of love, in terms of achieving the potential to the
mm,
highest, to the highest. To the highest ability. I have had the pleasure of working as an
mm.
impact marketing strategist at Stepwise, and it's a great opportunity, I would say, because I'm able to tell the stories of impact as a marketing executive. I'm able to design the way our stories are said out there, and it is a unique experience because we believe that uh, we the community of persons with disability require uh, not really sympathy, not really pity, but we do require love and support. And if anyone is out there and thinking about how to engage, how to support, I think Queen Mother is a very good platform for all of us. And we need to really help her, especially during this anniversary. The best love we can give is return that love. I think Queen
Oh,
Mother
yes.
has supported a lot of people, has touched people differently. And I think this is a time for us to really build that love and ripple it out to the rest of the world. And I know and I believe that it can be done. Thank you,
Oh,
Queen
thank
Mother.
you so much. George, I got a question for you.
Yes,
Why
please.
did you choose criminal justice as your major?
Okay, I wanted to be work in the Kenyan intelligence system, but
Ah,
that didn't go well. So I wanted to work with the inmates as well, but had the pleasure of rehabilitating inmates at Kamiti Maximum Prison on a partly social impact initiative. So I'm still within the system of criminal justice. So it has always been my passion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. And I noticed in reading through your bio that you've actually spent some time working with some of the inmates. What was that like?
At first, the company, or rather the NGO that I was working with,
Hmm.
Nafisika Trust, the person whom I was reporting to did not believe that people with disability actually exist also in
Hmm.
prison.
Whoa,
And so on
whoa.
our first visit, she asked me that, are we gonna find inmates with disability? Did they did they acquire their disability in prison or at a point of committing crime? And I learned one thing from that initiative, that people with disability are human. We're
Hmm.
capable of of committing crime, capable of falling in love, we're capable of building families, we're capable of everything, both good and bad. We all human. And it is good to nurture us into being the best we can. So when I went to
Hmm.
prison, I was able to develop a recidivism program that ensures that once they're out, we are able to bring them back to their normal life of family and building back their lives. It was a short program, yes, but I think I enjoyed my impact journey while I was there. Thank you.
Very well, George. I don't know if you've been seeing some of the comments that I've been posting on the screen from the chat board. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, I people saying that Riziki Lily, they said they agree. I'm just going to read some of them. I don't know if you saw them. They said they agree with you 100%. We also see Jackie Lee Dundee saying, I agree. I agree. Keen or Ching, for sure, Mr. George. I concur with you. Thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak show. And the comments just they're still coming in. We'll read out some more as the show continues to go. But George, I just want to thank you for being in my life. And I will say to the listening audience that while at USIU, as the director of the Center for Entrepreneur and Executive Development, that's where I met George on campus. And I don't know how he did it, y'all, but George found a chair. It was like a regular plastic chair.
Yeah.
Somehow, George cut the legs off of that chair. And somehow he put some wheels on that damn thing. And that became his instrument, his automobile. That's what he drove around with on campus. And
Wow.
when you see George coming, he would just clear the way because he's coming through. And just a joyful, cheerful man, even though things happened to him in his life that was out of his control, he didn't allow that incident. He did not allow that disability to keep him from growing strong. So, George, we love you. We
Thank
praise
you.
you. We thank God for you. And we look forward to working with you in the future because we know some more things are going to be coming.
Oh,
Thank you,
definitely.
George. It's been my
Thank
pleasure to
you.
have you here. And listen, we're going to have you back on the show because we're going to be doing some other things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I
Thank you.
let George go, I'm going to take a moment now and introduce our next guest, the lovely, the vivacious, the beautiful, the talented, the innovative. Her name is Premilla. This is Premilla, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get her bigger on the screen. Let's trying to get a bigger picture review here, Miss. Uh, okay, can I not get it bigger than that? I don't know why it's not showing bigger. I'm trying to make the whole screen, but let me just tell you a little bit about this fabulous woman. She's with PRIMMS Designs. It's a business entity, creativity, and passion. Our objective, she says, is to make our clients' lives beautiful through colorful, innovative touch ups of style and fashion. And that is exactly what she's done. She has a team of professionals and they form a conglomerate and they do workmanship and they specialize in soft furnishings, indoor gardening, interior decor, custom design, and tailored attire. Okay. She's not only is she in the home design decor market, she's now also moved over into the fashion area. All right. And she called that PRIMMS Designs. The company itself is named after this young lady. The whole idea was orchestrated through the useful tool of imagination and creativity. She says during the initial stages of the entity, the focus was on designing and tailoring beautiful pillows, okay, that varied in shapes and sizes and colors, which ensured comfort and exoticism for the living room. You could put them in the bedroom, you could use them in the office. Hey, you could even use them in outdoor spaces. Okay, but then they stemmed over into the world of fashion and design, and she's been daring to challenge in that area. So what she does is she takes the traditional setup in the home and the office, and she refurbishes it with color and peculiar layouts of the interior decor. You've got to see this young lady's work. Okay, she says their mission is to become the most popular household name, the most popular household name across all economic and physical boundaries with our affordable and efficient services and products. Wow. Wow, Ms. Premilla. Tell us about PRIMMS Design and who actually inspired you to do all this.
Oh, thank you, Queen Mother, for having the show. I'm so excited. First of all, I'd just like to give a shout out to the show. It's 2 years now. This is a big achievement, and of course, there's more growth coming. So, yeah, I'm excited and I'm happy about all this. So, let me just give you a brief introduction to Premilla. So, yeah,
Okay.
Premilla just I started this passion. This is actually self-taught skill that I got, and I had to teach myself right after my first degree how to sew. And after getting my first job with my first salary, I went on ahead and bought a sewing machine, and that's how PRIMMS Designs was initiated. I got to grow slowly because I was still employed. And at the very same time is when I actually met you, when I was doing the Chandarana School of Business in partnership with USIU and Federation of Kenya. I was doing a crash program for industrial relations, and that's when I met.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was
Okay.
such an interesting experience. You really literally just lit up my life. I remember the best thing I remember about you is anytime I'd call you to inquire on something, you would always just pick up your phone, and your greetings are just amazing. They're just enlightening me so much. Yeah, and I taught myself how to answer phone calls, and of course it goes with the vibe when you pick up a phone call, and you need to someone is calling you for whatever reason. It depends on how you're going to answer. The conversation will depend on how you're going to answer. So I really learned a lot from you. Very welcoming and helpful throughout the
Thank you.
course, and yeah, you made it so easy for me because I was the youngest in the group. I was in the same class with, let's call them, very influential people in the employment industry, and easy for me, and I enjoyed the whole session. So thank you for leaving an impression in my life.
Thank
So
you.
going back to PRIMMS Designs, yeah, we started out initially just as an individual passion. My interest was to basically get to have nice outfits for myself, and then it grew into getting to having a nice, beautiful space around me. And of course, it developed later on into a business. And I remember I would come from work at 5. I was working as the human resource manager at Star Times, and I'd come from work at 5 and immediately get to work because I'd already started getting orders from neighbors and from friends, and that's how the business actually started growing. So by the time I left work and I resigned from my job, I was already established and I was, making progress in my business and gaining profit and of course learning through the whole process. So PRIMMS Designs is basically a creation out of passion. It is a creation that we have the intention of making, changing the lifestyle or improving the lifestyle, or just bringing color to the homes, bringing color to the fashion and the fashion sense of men, women, and children, and just brightening up the living spaces, the work spaces. So I have a group of tailors, I have a group of fellow designers, I have a group of people who assist me or facilitate in the transportation of the orders, because I have orders from all over Kenya. So it makes my work, it makes our work, because you're a team, it makes it really enjoyable and really easy to do. And I also have a website where people get to shop online from all over the world. Like currently I'm working on a project with a lady from DC, and basically I'm doing consultation services on her behalf. So it's more of an outsourcing project. And so it's just a matter of time before PRIMMS Designs actually achieves the greatest objective, just as you read in your introduction, being a well-known product, being a home product where every person, or in whatever age, has something for PRIMMS Designs. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. So how do you decide which products that you're going to make? I mean, you started with the pillows. How did you know that? How did you get to that?
Well, when I moved out from my mother's house, and I needed furnishing. But because I was just starting out life on my own, I really didn't want to be so complex. So what I did was I got to make myself something called the sit-on cushions. They're really comfy. You can just put them on the floor, and they serve the purpose. And when it worked for me, I figured, why not? I could put it out there. I could share it with people, and if anyone is interested, I could make them for them. So that's how pillows, the idea about pillows came about. And of course it grew into back cushions, pillows, bed pillows, you name it, throw pillows, all sorts of pillows. And of course it also involved a lot of research. I had to follow a lot of designer pages, people who are in the same field as I was, people who are interested in the same things that I was. And of course, I learned a lot from them. I picked a lot of ideas from there. That's how it came about. Yeah. And of course, for cushions, the passion also grew because I love flowers. I love beautiful spaces. I love seeing a place looking amazing and presentable, with a lot of decorum. So that's how it came about, growing into interior designing. Of course, I had to involve specialists in that field as I oversaw what they were doing. Gardening, I do gardening as well. PRIMMS Designs is basically just about making your life beautiful, making sure that you dress, you're in a fashionable way, in a comfortable way, embracing the African culture. At the same time, we have a project called Ankara Design. We have a project called Ankara Design. It's basically just about embracing the African culture. If you can see what I'm wearing, I know it's very pretty. It's just about coming up or using up the materials or the resources that are made in Africa, they're made in Kenya, and we get our materials from Tanzania, we get our materials from Uganda, we get our materials from right here in Kenya, and we get to make a lot of designer clothes, a lot of customized dresses, men attires, children's clothes. So slowly, progressively, I'm sure we're gonna go far. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Let me ask you, were you in business during the pandemic?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
It was very easy for me because most of my clients are physically located where the shop is. We have, of course, we have outlets all over, but during the it was a bit easier for me. Of course, changes such as having to transport orders to other parts of the town during the lockdown. But apart from that, I could still I could still give service to the local or the physical, the clients who are physically near me. So it wasn't as much, it wasn't hard as much. But the only thing I could say to affect my clients, last thing we're thinking of is, fashion and design, because we had the main agenda was to survive and be healthy. But I would say the best experience I got from that terrible season of our lives is I got to make a lot of face nose mask. Is it face mask, nose mask? Yes. It was Ankara mask. Yes, and it really sold because the ones I made were from cotton, not linen. So they were actually recyclable. You could wash them when you get to the house. And people really appreciated the innovative idea that I came up with. So yeah.
Excuse me, have a blank for a moment, but she'll be right back. But if I'm understanding, she's saying even during the pandemic, girlfriend was still able to get business. Now, that is different from most businesses that I've talked to. Everybody seemed to take a nosedive. Some even went out of business. But you're sitting here telling us today that during the pandemic, you were still able to get business. And that's because I think when people bought your products, they were so bright and lively and colorful, it made them feel happy.
Yeah.
It made them feel happy, made them feel very happy. So, has there been an upsurge in your business since the pandemic has slowed down, or what?
I've opted to change, or rather improvise, and now I'm dealing with the business in terms of departmental. That is just to make overseeing the business, managing the business a bit easier for me.
Okay.
But in terms of growth, it's been progressive. I cannot complain. It's been progressive. But I'm hoping to, of course, branch out to bigger markets, international markets. If I get the opportunity, why not? I'll go for it.
Okay. Okay, bigger market. So I know for a fact that in this place called Kenya, there are tons of organizations offering courses and trainings on how to sell your products internationally. Commonwealth Business Women Network. I don't know if you are aware of them. If you're not, I'll give you the lead for that when we're off the show. There's just Women on Board networks. Okay, women serving on boards, teaching us more leadership. And from there, you still get to meet others who can not only purchase your products, but also refer you to others. Premilla, I am just delighted to have you on the show today. I didn't remember exactly how or when we met, but you've made it clear that it was during the days we were working with the Federation of Kenya Employers. And you had gone there to take on some training, and we met ourselves there. Thank you so very much for being on the Queen Mother Speak Show. We are going to have you back again. We always bring our guests back to see how things are 6 months, 12 months down the road. She said the company it's been growing quite a lot, and she is now seeking to do international business. So would you please give us your website so we can put it in the chat box for those tuning in?
Sure, that's great.
I'm ready.
My website address is primsdesigns.alltradesviv.com. It's an online shop, so you can actually shop there. Any product that
Design. What's the rest of it? Prims Designs.
primsdesigns.alltradesviv.com.
Can you put this in the chat box for us? Because I don't want to mess it up. I'm gonna erase what I was doing, and you put it in, and we'll post it on the big chat board for everybody to see.
Of course, I'd love to.
Okay, very well. And I can't wait to get with you to get some of those products that you have. Interestingly enough, ladies and gentlemen, the piece she's wearing on her head is a piece very similar to what's been designed for Queen Mother out of Ghana. And I have those in different colors, but now I want to have some from you. So we'll be in touch on that. Thank you once again for being on the Queen Mother Speak Show, a place for self expression all the time. All the time. Thank you, Premilla. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are running over. We are over the 6 o'clock hour, but that's okay. We've got quite a few people still in the studio checking us out. And I'm going to bring on our very, very next guest. His name is Daniel. Do you guys remember Daniel in the Bible? Daniel, who was in the lion's den. And what happened? Well, this particular Daniel is named Daniel Ngugi. He serves as the head of inclusion and development at the Stepwise Foundation. He also organizes, advise organizations and companies on how to apply best practices in inclusion. Wow, what a way to go. Best practices in inclusion. And they have programs for the underserved community. Okay, he's going to tell us about all that in just a moment. In his free time, he said he enjoys charity work, he enjoys listening to music, he enjoys traveling. Oh, wow. Let me just tell you, Daniel is a very, 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 very special friend of mine. I also met him when I was at the university, USIU Africa, and that's where I met Daniel. Daniel, welcome to the Queen Mother Speak Show.
Wow, finally. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Just
Yes.
like Premilla and George, I just want to shout out to Queen Mother. It's been 2 years. You guys have been doing amazing work, just sharing stories within our societies and within our communities. And it's been amazing. I've been listening into it and I've learned a lot. I'm so happy to be here. I mean, we have a long story that could take a day of how we met and how we're here. But just to introduce myself, I'm Daniel Ngugi, as Queen Mother said. I'm an inclusion advisor to organizations, and inclusion is very important. I run a hashtag called Inclusion Matters, basically saying that it's about time that we intentionally speak about inclusion and we have the right approach to it. I know historically it has been used as a lip service, which is sad, and you know, um, and also historically, people haven't really done much. I know there are a few organizations which have really
Mm-hmm.
done amazing work, whether it's through training and placement or even programs that nurture young people or even adults. But yeah, on a nutshell, let me just give a story, very small, on how we met. So I joined USIU in 2011, September, I think the fall semester, and one of the subjects that I took or courses that I took in my first year happened to be in Dr. King's class. And at that time, I was trying to really adjust myself to the USIU culture. I was used to the public school, the Kenyan school, where we just, interact with the local people. You know, you're used to that culture, which is comfortable. Then you enter into an institution that has different nationalities, which was, of course, amazing, but you're some culture shock at some, yeah. And it was amazing that when I joined your class, you were so welcoming. And actually, it's one of the classes that I really did good, in as much as I was adjusting my first weeks with your accent. So, I mean, I used to sit at the back and I'd be like, oh my God, is this CNN? But yeah, it was amazing. I learned a lot. And my journey in inclusion was really, and it's tying up with how I met Dr. King. Um, I happen to be a student leader or in positions of leadership way back when I was young, and way back from high school. And in my campus days, I had planned to just relax. I was always in the front, talking about this and that, being a leader of this and this. And I was like, maybe in campus I can be a different person. Maybe later I can just chill, just enjoy. And when I met you, one of the things you really taught me was to take advantage of the opportunities that are available to you, and also using your gift to impact people's lives. And that struck a really huge difference in my life at the time, as I was trying to make sense of, okay, what does that mean? I'm just a student and I'm still new here, and I don't know if I wanna go that direction of being out there. But one of the things that I loved was, even after the semester ended, you still reach out to me and ask me, hey, how you doing? I know you have a gift. How much are you using it? Still, same phrase, to impact people's lives. And I was like, I'm still a student. I'm just trying to adjust. And I remember at some point I started, like, using different lens when I see you from somewhere far, just to as I try to adjust myself. But I happen to take information system and technology as my major, and a minor in organizational psychology. I this Some of these courses that I took kind of gave me a background of what I really wanted to do, or even discover more of what I can do. I remember I was very, very active in school, and I remember I was approached by the counseling department, and they requested me, like, Daniel, you're very known in school, and one of the things you could see in the school is there's no conversation around disability. Is this something that you can take it as you and probably engage with other students who have disabilities and see what you guys can come up with? Yeah, and they started organizing meetings in school, and it was good that most of those meetings were minuted and were recorded, and some of the recommendations or discussions that we had, and the recommendations that we had, when we tackled them to management, they actually embraced them so much. And one of the huge achievements that I can recall, and actually acknowledge even George at the time we were students in USA, was the recommendations that we had were actually adapted even by the time we were graduating. So, and one of the things that the school did, or we did, was to come up with a disability etiquette in school. Initially, I never had an idea of what that is, but it was good to just being in a group discussion, in a focus group discussion, and just hearing what your friends sharing the same sentiment in terms of being a person with disability and their lifestyle has been, and the ideas that were there. And I realized that, oh, by the way, I can use my gifts and be able to actually make an impact here, no matter how small it is. I remember by the time we were actually presenting some of this recommendation, students had actually even elected me to be a student leader in 2014, and I was representing the School of Science, and I used that platform to propel that conversation. And I'm glad now that the school has actually adjusted its policies to accommodate issues of persons with disability, and even accommodate some things that students can learn about persons with disability.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that has been done, even having a whole department for persons with disability in school. And there's actually, in the student council, there's a set aside role for person with disability, which is so good. And one of the things I also love about that journey was I used to have constant conversation with you, and we will do even events together. I remember
Yes, we did.
yes, I remember one of the events that we did was so good was at Lamada Hotel, where there was a fashion and entertainment event. And it was the first event. Interesting. I've never told you this that
Ah,
I wore my first suit.
really, Daniel?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I learned a lot, and so from that point, I started realizing now, in as much as I have these gifts and all this ability to be a person of change, but also
Hmm.
need to present myself professionally, and you really grew me in that. So
Mm.
after I finished school, I continued doing a lot of in disability area. Why do I talk about disability? Let me give you guys some stats. According to the World Bank statistics, so these around 15% of for the 15% of global population has a disability, and right now we are close to 8 billion. So it means 1.5 billion in the world have a disability, and that's huge. And they project that to in the next 5 years to be past 20%. And that means this a person with disability might be your friend, might be your child, might be your parent, might be your neighbor, might be your colleague. And it's about time that now we need to take an initiative, an intentional approach to see that historical um, issues that have been happening and people not doing much in it. How can we be intentional in it? And in as much as at the time in 2017, 2016, I was not employed, I happened to, with a group of friends from school, doing charity work to these special schools. And I remember my journey inclusion became even more stronger and stronger. And I realized that probably this is my purpose now. And I remember
Hmm.
one of the roles that I took in a disability organization was, and as much as I was a volunteer, was being a project assistant in a program that was championing employment for persons with disability. In 2017, when I joined Stepwise, I was drawn to the organization because they wanted to really intentionally provide employment
Hmm.
opportunities for persons with
Okay.
disability. And in
Mm.
2020, I became an inclusion manager. And right now, in my new role as head of inclusion and development, I'm able to use the skills that I have, the ability I have, even with the people close to me, to drive that agenda. And one of the most influential people in my life that has helped me to walk that journey is Dr. King. And I'm glad also George is on the show. And I'm glad he has been part of my life in that journey. And I will say this inclusion is a huge topic when you think about it here holistically.
Oh, wait, say that again. Inclusion is what?
Is a huge topic when you think about it
Hmm.
holistically. Yeah. But I will want you to break it down to your level where you are,
Hmm.
whether you're a male or a female, and ask yourself, what does inclusion means to you? Which is very, very important because that's the first step
Uh-huh.
in just understanding what inclusion matters to you. And for me, I'll speak for the point of a person with disability is there's a whole history of how you're brought up if you have a disability. And especially a child who has acquired disability along the way where they're growing up, it's even difficult. It's harder to adjust to life and even getting back to school and even relating with your friends. Now, for you, if you understand the issues of the inclusion or have ever interacted with a person with disability or have heard of it, you have seen stories on the media or social media about how persons with disabilities just are supposed to be sympathized. And I love one of the comment that was made earlier on Facebook about we don't need sympathy, we need empathy. And that is the information that is there. And you will find that anyone who interacts with this notion of inclusion will think in that direction. And I will want to take your mind into this direction of what is inclusion and why does it matter? For me, it matters a lot. For you, it matters because uh, it's about time we need to get away from tokenism. We have seen stories being done on social media where people are being displayed, and then when you follow the story and the impact for that child or male or female or an adult, and you find they don't even get benefit. The issues of tokenism, the issues of using it as a lip service. Every time they talk about person's disability, yes, the people shout about it, but after that is done, nothing is being done. And for anyone who's within this show today, I would love and to encourage you to think about it in a positive way. What can you do from where from the community you come from? And I love that now with Queen Mother Speaks with its platform, guys watching us from all the way from the States and also in Africa, Ghana, Kenya, um, we can now understand. We have a chance to now be aware that there's an issue there, but also there's things that I can do. And it's a matter of asking yourself from where you are, from the comfort of your home, what can I do? And it starts from understanding, getting the knowledge, the right knowledge about persons with disability who are there. So we have four categories. We have the people who have mobility challenges, we have the visually impaired, we have the hearing impaired, and also we have the neurodiversity. Get to learn what that is all about. Get to learn who these people are, so that when you meet them at the street or at your office, you just say hi, introduce yourself as, like, to give an example, I say Daniel Ngugi, and this is me, and I would like to get to know about you. And once you get to start adjusting yourself to that new world of inclusion, something that later will come into your mind is, how do I make an impact as me? And this is why you learn things about accommodation, things about the etiquette, the right etiquette. Do I need to say Daniel, the person with disability, or do I just need to identify Daniel as Daniel Ngugi, a profession in an inclusion space? You see, so you will be able to understand this, and I love that we have been in that journey, Dr. King, in the inclusion space. I've seen you doing a lot of work in that, and having that conversation, I believe platforms like this will become very instrumental in changing the societal uh, mindset and mentality around inclusion issues. So I'm happy today. Shout out to Queen Mother Speaks second anniversary. There's so much to share about inclusion, but today was to celebrate and to actually, um, commend the work Queen Mother Speak has been doing. And I believe young people are learning a lot from your platform, and I believe it's a platform that has a lot of knowledge that people can actually listen and learn. And I believe you can reach us directly and ask what you want to learn within your career ambitions and all that. And I believe you learn a lot. The good thing about technology, which right now, what that you what we are doing in our organization, as Stepwise Foundation, is using the power technology to bring the impact, to bring opportunities, and to empower people to be able to be at the same level as anyone. So I love that, Dr. Queen, you're using the same platform to actually empower people to speak and share their experiences, their businesses, their career growth. And here we are. So thank you so much. I think you're muted. We can't hear you. Sorry.
To say that thank you, thank you, thank you, Daniel. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm happy to have all of my guests in the studio today for this second anniversary of Queen Mother Speaks, because basically they know me as a lecturer standing in front of the class talking to them, or they know me when we go out on field trips. We go out to do things, as Daniel was speaking earlier. I remember some event I had to go to, looked like I got the tickets maybe just a few days before the event, and it was a black tie affair, and Queen Mother needed a escort. Guess who she called on? And yes, he did. He came forth. He dressed himself very handsomely, and we went to that event. Oh, we had such a great time. And Daniel, we have to dress up and do that again. In fact, with all
Sure.
the work that Premilla's doing in making outfits, she can get us ready for our next event. So Premilla, look forward
Yes.
to hearing from us when we have an event to go to. Things slowed down during the pandemic, but slowly but surely, okay, things are starting to really, really pick up. I'm hoping, Daniel, that you've been seeing some of the comments coming in on the chat board from some of your friends. And thank you for putting your website in the chat board, Premilla, and we're going to keep it there. And when we get calls, we will direct them to go to your website. Okay, Daniel, I had some more questions for you, but I'm going I'm going to leave it right there, and I just want to make a few mentions of what's going to be coming up in the future. Okay, we're going to have Nana's Underground Railroad Tour. Many of you don't even know what the Underground Railroad is. Well, I'm going to leave it for you to tune in. In the month of August, Nana will be coming to us the entire month, and she'll be bringing us incidents on her travels on the Underground Railroad and more, right? We also want to invite you to visit Soul Vegetarian Restaurant, where you can get pizzas that you have no idea that there's no meat inside of them. You will love it. So, vegetarian, you can reach them at 0742 658, I'm sorry, 0742 654 810. If it's sweets you want to eat, you want to go to Lucille's Kitchen. That number, 0732 567 327. So if you want vegan delights like you've never had before, go to Soul Vegetarian. And if it's sweets that you want to eat, that's called Lucille's Kitchen. I want to invite you once again to watch Bonga Dada Bonga tomorrow, Thursday, 7 p.m. Kenya time, and that would be 12 noon New York time. So click on facebook.com/Bonga Dada Bonga. Miss Aisha Dafala, who is Kenya's blood ambassador, is still asking me to make a request to you to please go to the nearest blood bank and donate. Why? Because Kenya needs it. Kenya needs the blood. Mia, one of our young daughters who lives in Europe, she's heading over to Northern Rwanda because they're involved with Action Aid to help build a much needed new classroom block for children there at a primary school. And you can have access to Nia and working with her on that project at https www.justgiving.com/fundraising/Mia Farrell. Mia Farrell. Again, living in Europe, and they're getting ready to build a block in Rwanda for some of the kids. I know how exciting that's going to be, and I know how blessed those children are going to be, and how their little eyes are going to be lighting up. So thank you, Nia, for the Mia, not Nia, Mia, for the work that you are doing in Africa. I have to say this to you: wake up, wake up, wake up for your rights. Wake up, stand up, don't give up the fight. You see, in 2020, our votes from abroad were the margin of victory for President Biden. Did you know that? So we've got our work cut out for us, folks, in 2022. So I want you to wake up. I want you to get up, get your ballots for the November midterm election. You do that by going to www.votefromabroad.org. www.votefromabroad.org. There's no limit to what we can do when we work together. And we do need to work together because, as you've heard earlier from the Tilila Report, those Republicans are out there doing everything they can to turn your votes down, to scratch them off the ballot, to make sure that they can't go through. So Queen Mother's advising you to get up and stand up for your rights. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the importance of voting. We're going to do that on another show. But right now, we just want to say we're in season 8, where the theme is, if not you, who? If not now, when? And the time is now. We have just three anniversary requests. And that is share the Queen Mother Speak Show, comment on the Queen Mother Speak Show, and like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And just one other thing we have for this anniversary year, we're doing the reusable sanitary pads. We want you to give us $10 if you're paying in American money and 1,000 shillings if you're paying in local money. And what happens when you do that, we get a chance to get this little packet. And inside of this packet is 4 pads, 4 reusable cotton pads. And I'm told by the makers, Miss Bethesda, that once the girls use these 4 pads, they can use for a complete year. For a complete year. They're reusable because once you use them, you wash them. And they give you instructions on how to do that. And this is our project right now. We want to be able to provide these pads in 3 villages. So please give us 10 US dollars or 1,000 Kenya shillings. You can send it to PayPal.shanabaking@gmail.com, or you can send it to our M-Pesa number, which is 0796-509-965. Give us an anniversary shout out. We'd like that very much. Next week, July 27, on the Queen Mother Speak Show, we're going to hear salutes from Robert Earl Miller. He is one of the elders in the King family. He's going to come on and have some words from you. Miss Mabel Griffin. Miss Mabel is a lady I knew when I was going to school at UCLA, Los Angeles, California. Miss Mabel turned 100. And we're going to bring her on the show next week to talk to us. Now, 7 o'clock is kind of early for her. So if we don't get her live, we'll do a recording. But can you imagine 100 years old and all of her faculties are still in place? So ladies and gentlemen, it is possible. It is possible to do that. We're not going to go through all of the credits right now, but we're just going to thank you for tuning in. And we're getting ready to end the show for today. It's been a fabulous, marvelous show. I will say that Premilla did give us some videos to show her designs. We didn't get a chance to put them into the broadcast today, but we will be showing them on the Queen Mother Speak Show. So ladies and gentlemen, let us get ready to end the show as we always do. First, we take our left hand and we throw a kiss. Then we take our right hand and throw a kiss. Then we take both hands together and throw a kiss. We're going to do this together. Are you ready? Left hand, right hand, both hands. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Go ahead, give it away. Give it away. You know, in my church, they used to tell us that love isn't love until you give it away. Get that right hand ready. Come on. Here we go. Mwah. Yeah. Now we're going to take both of them. And I want you to really put your heart into this. And I want you to know that you are sending love vibrations into the world. And love does heal. So on this double shout out of love, we're sending it out with healing powers and healing properties. Let's go. Very well. Thank you again for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak Show every Wednesday, every week, live at 5 p.m. Kenya time and 10 a.m. New York time. Tune in next week for another show of Queen Mother Speaks anniversary. We thank you. Peace and blessings. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.